else, but nothing else in the world. No, no one's even a distant second place.
No, not even close.
Egypt can, wow, Egypt can just stand above all of it, and it was so long ago.
Yeah, it's super ancient. And what I like about John Anthony West, his theory aligns with the Emerald Tablets date range because when he talks about the Great Sphinx being built two processional periods back, it takes it back to around 38,000 years ago, around the same time that Thoth claims to have written the Emerald Tablets. And in these tablets, he talks about building the Great Pyramid. He said, "Build and I the Great Pyramid pattern after Earth's course, so that it too might remain for the ages." So he claims to be the master architect of the structure of the Great Pyramid. And what he did was he incorporated into it advanced science. It's not just a power generator; it's also, in my opinion, also could be a multifunctional stone computer. Okay, and this thing calculates the movement of the planets in the inner solar system, which is crazy. Well, if I have some, this is some notes. I got some incredible notes that I did some math.
I'm amazed how much you don't know things. It's amazing on this podcast that blow me away without notes. Terrence,
Yeah, he's one.
on the half captures.
Yeah. I just want to get the numbers exact.
Okay.
So one thing, the equatorial circumference of the Earth can be calculated by the Great Pyramid because the Great Pyramid itself is 1 by 43,200 scaled down. So if you take the Great Pyramid and scale it up 43,200 times, it fits directly inside the sphere of the Earth, and if you touch it, it's a pyramid. Okay.
So meaning the dimensions and how the angles of it fit inside the sphere.
Inside of the sphere, it's a representation of the Earth in a pyramid. Okay. That's great. And if you multiply that by the base perimeter, you get 24,634.9 miles, which is roughly within 170 miles of the circumference of the planet itself. Okay, which is wild. You can also calculate the speed of the Earth around the sun. So the Great Pyramid, basically you take pyramid inch times 10 to the 8th power, it equals the speed of Earth around the sun. Just
These kind of calculations is like different. So then you can take that and you can do that different things. But these calculations he's a bunch of different funny ones.
420 of
Yeah,
EJ.
yeah. He was explaining how you take these arbitrary procession of the equinox numbers and you can multiply them times whatever you want. You can get much different results based on results, not based on the
Some of the parties will check this out. It's about, oh my goodness, what about taking the fact that the pyramid, the Great Pyramid is located in the center of land mass, not the center of land mass. Now, the one way you can do the pyramid in the center of land mass is you have to have a floating satellite. What we do today, a floating satellite moving this way, and that's what's on its axis. You take this quantum data and you calculate the land mass, and then you can say, okay, this is the center point of the land mass there.
So the center point of the land mass being the surface of the Earth, what percentage of it is covered with the ground is.
Right.
And you find the center of where the most ground is.
Yes.
That's
Exactly. The next thing is taking the average height of all of the peaks and then dividing that to get the average height and making that the height of the Great Pyramid. Now, you can't just randomly calculate those numbers. Okay?
that's the average height of mountains and peaks.
That's right. That's right. That's an absolute fact. The Grand Gallery, the latitude of the Grand Gallery inside the Great Pyramid leading into the King's Chamber, the latitude are the exact digits of the speed of light in meters per second. You can't just randomly calculate that.
You can't just get those skills. There's not one thing about it. You give your crazy numbers in mathematics, but there's not one thing about it that's completely insane. Like every single aspect of it's completely insane. The fact that we still will try to pretend today that it's not impressive, or that it was impressive, but that they did it with sand, and they did it with... How do you know?
Well, you need more mud. The mud ramp theory, you need more mud in mass than the pyramid. So that's a course.
The mud thing, I mean, it's like you just show me.
Yeah.
Show me what to just...
But here's the problem with that mud ramp theory. I don't think people realize. I take people on tour to the pyramid every single year. I take people on a huge tour. Last year we had 140 people on tour in Egypt for 12 days. But the pyramid itself, each individual stone, the pyramid, each individual stone at the pyramid is a different shape and size. There are no two stones that are perfectly the same. Each stone fits in an interlocking format. So you can't say, go over here and cut these stones, we're going to bring them over here and we're going to throw up this pyramid. It doesn't work that way. Each stone is made individually, specifically for the location that it's exactly in.
Because they all have to be at an angle.
An
Because they're
angle
all going up towards this angle, so
and
it never has to be cut.
exactly. So they're interlocking stones. There's no way to say just cut this cookie cutter out and we're going to bring it and twist them in the hole. And if you accidentally cut the wrong size or you're off by a few inches, you can't make a print. You can spend a week or two getting a stone to a location that don't fit. It doesn't make any sense. They had foreknowledge. People don't take the amount of resources, energy, effort that took to build that structure and then guessing that what happened at the end. You only build that complete blueprint. Now, the fact, right? We have concept that the work we've done is
Any stories like what was the origin? What were they trying to say? What were they documenting? What were they sharing in an oral tradition of the history of the people and of the earth and of the heavens themselves? What were they sharing? What were those things? How much of it was myth? How much of it was misinterpreted original story? And then the beginning of it, just everything. It's literally describing the early scientists happened. And then you think about these stories of the floods, and we know there's evidence that there were floods the flooding that existed, where you can see these enormous channels come that it just insane amounts of water for a short period of time. And when he describes that, you're like, what? And then the fact that we know that there's asteroid impacts, there's comet impacts, and that the ice age ended abruptly, that these areas, like this is where it was, this is where it went down, and this might be every fucking story that you've heard from the beginning of time. The epic of Gilgamesh, Noah the Ark, all the stories.
Yeah, also, I would say the Noah story is inside of the epic of Gilgamesh.
Yes.
I believe that is a result of the Younger Dryas incident. And the epic of trees, there's this strike, the asteroid or whatever it is, it's going to hit, it doesn't specifically say, but they have the ability to stop it. And there's this other disc that has video right, which is supposedly the direction that this thing took through space to hit Earth. And so it was going to know that this was going to happen. And when you look on the Earth around that same time period, it was estimated to happen. Like magnetic destruction stopped. What happens if everything stopped at the same time, unfinished inquiry, unfinished inquiry, open flood around the entire planet, everything's just finished. Something happened, hopefully, that made people stop working in these structures and go to maybe ground base in the earth, and the end people, the movies at the end. So the wonder, if you put the wonder in the name itself, you have a ship, that laser, and the chemical field professional was told how to build the ship. It wasn't a boat like we know that the Bible is actually this. It was told to be found that heaven's tablet in the museum. It was an actual disc that looked like pie section in the world. And he was told to collect his own different fauna and livestock, not to every kind of purpose. He didn't get too ticked too big, he didn't have, he had local livestock, but he built a disc to stop the ship. It was real. But yeah, these stories are definitely, pretty crazy.
It is. And it's just so strange when you see existence. There's still in the what was real in the ancients. There's still things that's real. Giant scientists look at it as it's personalized. And there's also vast networks of existing giant beams. But I love this dude.
Yeah.
And what he's doing up there is all his.
Yeah.
This is his property.
Incredible.
So he's got it all documented. He's got warehouses. He spent millions of dollars doing all this stuff. And his one area is Indian rivers. It's Indian rivers. just have them locked up and just try to say that they have them, that you provide paperwork, it's proof that they denied there was ever any dumped into the East River. But now they pulled them out of the East River. Now they know. So look at this.
That's incredible.
This is insane.
That's an incredible graveyard.
This is insane. The boning. He calls it, when you tell him it's a boneyard, so if you go there, you become a boner. So he wants to make it an official boner. So all these bones. I mean, this is just a small sampling of what this guy has. We have one out there. Wow. That he gave me.
Well, someone up there.
That's what that is. That's probably,
oh, wow.
That's probably 15,000 years old.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, that's crazy.
Something's insane. Look at all the stuff he's got. I mean, it's just, and this is just one small layer that they're chipping away at. So then, the charred surface, there's a layer that they go through that's all completely charred. And he's documented this too. Like, what the fuck happened here? Look at this layer. This layer's insane. This whole place was up in flames. See the char? He's got it in his hand. There's thick layers of that. Cool. Scroll up to his caption. What does it say? Something came in hot about his brain. What we're looking at is what we found on the bedrock when we were digging the drain. The bedrock is burned, the gravel is burned, and nobody knows why yet. That's okay. We'll figure it out someday. So there's a whole layer of this. Clearly, something was on fucking fire.
Yep. Well, we found charred stones just like that at the base, projecting out from the base of the vent pyramid. And if you look at this, we documented this. I'm going to put it in my TV show, Anunnaki series. There's areas of the vent pyramid that look like they've been blown out. Something hit it and blew out the stone and charred them black, like just like that. And there's like a different being like that. And while we started studying these charred stones, these charred rocks, and up above, when you kind of walk in and go down into the vent pyramid, there's like one stone blown away as you walk out away from the base. You discover that's where they lay. And you put your hand in the sand and pull up these charred stones, which is just wild. So, look at the vent pyramid. If anybody goes to explore, still say that charred. Nobody's thought about it. That's why I'm trying to analyze and see what's going on. Chunks, and then you see that right there. You see that corner. Now that corner, picture right there is the green all those stones, it looks like impact. There's outway, there's charred rocks and sand and it goes very interesting. You can see what that is. So you put it up in days, it's like a charred stone that came from the pyramids. That's exactly what it looks like. That's actually the rocks. You got it. Archaeologists that go through everything as the same exact belief because we can see the movement of those areas there. The mass is missing. The majority of it's in the same 5% of the photo.
So it wasn't stolen.
Yeah, it's there. It's still there. So I'll send you the picture of the channel. You're ready to do it.
So all of that
it's going off. It's the mass is still there. A lot of the dust out, but the dark, the black pieces are would be further toward me.
Can you tell us where we can find images of those? The chart?
I have some.
Can you show them to Jamie or something?
I'll send them to you right away. Absolutely.
You can't airdrop it because you use foreign technology.
Just download an email to you.
Well, we want to be
There were some photos.
Just
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not talking. We're in here is the sense of playgrounds from one system.
a couple there. You have geologists, you have guys, developers, also said that integration needs to know what engine you have in there.
So now we're seeing stuff. So much thousands of years covered in dust and silver. Dust on the dust and silver. So
Yes.
charge.
Right. Which is crazy.
It's getting make sense of the change. Watching its response. It's just and it also makes sense if you think about how advanced civilization just disappeared. How do we it just doesn't make sense. I know there's the word most of our information.
That's a great story. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the Bible, Christ, the majority of them have, but that was just a distraction to steal the knowledge, and then the majority of that knowledge ended up behind us. That's my bad. It's fun. Yeah.
That's what my favorite time I went.
Yes, I just said even that obvious that one is the same as tier 2. If you look at tier 2, not the dimensions, but just the actual shape of the magnitude of tier 2. So that's an incredibly convincing thing that they built it based upon tier 2 coming from here.
Black sun, black straight that that was so fascinating to me. I didn't know. I have a lot of art. I didn't know.
That's outrageous.
When you go to see yourself, no, what? What did you do?
Yeah.
How much time did this take? This is so intricate. It's so incredible. One of the most spectacular things I think I've ever seen in my life in terms of like what human beings can do with engineering, time, artisans, craftsmen, people, that, artisans that just create the most insane ceiling you've ever seen in your life. Right. So intricate. I mean, and perfect for a house of worship because you walk around like me.
Right.
This is obviously God. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And the fact that they did it for so long, hundreds of years to make that place.
I know. It's incredible.
It's so amazing.
It lets you know that there's time periods where people would operate within a golden age in certain regions of the planet and have time to do that time of extensive art and craft and create that new.
Right. That's what we got. San Francisco, Australia.
That's it.
As well.
Yep.
That's what they were.
They tried to.
The thing about what they have is they don't have to come and help you. So they do. There's archives we have to go and have it so we're not just looking at our time.
Right.
So it's some smiles and speculation. It's a watch.
It's a milestone. That's talk about other folks. This was since they were talking about years ago. They were talking about that they want the Pope wants to baptize the First Amendment. That's an incredible statement.
That the other term Michio Kaku into a scientist.
Right.
Right? It's like that.
And he built this telescope called to look for alien life.
That's not.
Yeah.
You would think that anybody would know that.
Right. The light builders, when it was for beings, supposedly, but they built the telescope and they used it.
Right, but the swastika used to be inside peace.
Right.
So they used it.
I know.
It's like things can be stolen forever. No one's rocking that hippie mustache. That's right. It's only the mustache. It's over. Now when they call you out, that's over. That's over. Right.
Exactly. As they cut that, why is that name? That and it's actually it's on.
When you can why Lucifer telescope, all the telescopes are fascinating. What's really most interesting to me is the James Webb information that's coming out about the birth of the cosmos, about how looking at these galaxies that seem to form to starting to examine the timeline of the event, considering whether or not we break this 13.5, this 13.5, 13.8 early thing. These galaxies should not exist. So I was just watching about the or a couple of where they were getting into why this doesn't make sense, but the size of these galaxies, they're too thin. Right. That means 5 billion years after the Big Bang. Right. So this doesn't make sense.
According to us.
According to
With
us.
our beliefs.
Right.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure out what dark matter is.
Right. Yeah. I just, it turns out, comes to these stars. It's a invention. Eventually now, this is how life propagates through the universe. It makes so much sense. And with our limited understanding of the cosmos and our very specific ideas of the existence of things that we continue to have telescope discoveries, we realize that like science, like everything else, it's when it's practiced by humans fucking use the data, these elements that they don't want to be corrected, they want their initial ideas to be correct. And then there's, a lot of great scientists that just forget that this is amazing. It's capabilities, it's getting better, it takes me better. It's from it's thing for exactly. It just keeps getting better. I think the whole I came back to trillion sky, 2 trillion galaxies is what the estimate exists within our known universe. And then when it comes out, it's just showing this stuff with much more clarity. It's probably going to make this representative as much as past obviously the hundreds of million galaxies. And it just keeps getting better and better, getting a bigger and better understanding of our place in the universe as well. And some people are scared to see why they want to get out. They want to make it's going to change the paradigm. But the paradigm is not to be afraid. The paradigm is about to be embraced. Embrace this new huge part of us that's connected. This part of it is part of us intrinsically. And I think people are just afraid of they think it's the unknown because it makes them look small. I think all this stuff going on out there makes me look big. I think that I'm part into it. And everything is like this. Right. I'm not realistic. Exactly. It's not just it's so infinite nature. It's not important. Right. That's the fact of the universe. When you go fractals on things, you start thinking about mathematics, and you see what? It's never ending. It's just this constant thing. It's inside top of waters. Deeper than that, further than that, it just never ends. There's many ways of where. So it's hard to think of just it's hard. I think the originality is several individuals, but energetically, the same entity, the same consciousness, experiencing something differently, subjectively, different minds. Yeah, it's different minds, man. It's less information, better brain, better this, better that, machine that. It's a big thing that it's hypothesis in the cosmos that's probably something's changing, but there's this imbalance, there is this constant struggle, that's probably this constant struggle. That's just amazing. Travel planets out it just makes you think, like, is that just what we do forever? Is this just when we have this utopian perspective of being able to eliminate war on Earth someday, which no one thinks is going to happen, not with this current version of humans. And then you think, well, we've surpassed Earth, past our achievements, our civilization out into the universe, and we still need something. And then I love those dudes. If you get to a point where us now, but 500 years from now, right, with the same genes, I think that's our genes. so I tend to
Right.
that's a problem.
Yeah,
I
that's a big problem.
would really try hard to stop those bugs from
I think a lot of these suppression and repression technologies potentially, this hypothesis could be that there's a hand in the background. Hopefully it's a background. It's quite possible.
But then there's the theory of dynamic silicon spheres, where they talk about these disks that they found Republic now doesn't exist. They're called dimensions. They think that these things are kind of left so that we can just go, oh, fiber optics, or whatever.
Yep.
There's a lot of these things that seem to like transistors.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of these things seem to have come very quickly around Roswell.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That's a fact. That really amazes me. Because I believe that exactly is what's really going on with a lot of these UAPs. I think that there's a lot of powers. I believe there's UFOs out there, but a lot of these objects we see in the sky are probably made like us, like we system technology. And so, but it comes to the point of we to advance in civilization again, like actually short piece of AI, 5G, all right. Yes, just the news.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a human power.
Yeah. So
That's right.
that's Sky.
Yeah, that's good. And then on top of that, it's not just the fact how climate change can develop climate change for no longer as a person who's way more change versus
Right.
climate change.
Yes, exactly.
Especially as these technologies scale up. Like I have a Tesla, and my Tesla has auto drive, and I can set the destination of the restaurant I want to go to, press auto drive in the navigation, and it does everything. It hits the blinkers, it stops at stop signs, it stops at red lights, it takes turn, it changes lanes, it moves around parking areas. It's fucking wild. And it's not right here, it does. Yeah, it doesn't. It's crazy. I heard like taking turns like overpasses or underpasses.
Oh, man.
I heard that. So keep it, but it's not there yet. But it's a lot better than when I first got it. I remember I was driving down New York, and I was with my wife. I was playing around. I was like, this is the Led Zeppelin. Like, and I'm steering. I'm like, look, this is life trying things out. This is crazy. That was a really good one. I didn't really trust it. It was probably better than I thought it was. Every now and then, now it's I don't know, just forget sometimes when I was like, oh yeah, this car drives itself. I turn for it sometimes. Yes. I mean, it's shocking.
Well, man, that's all they're gonna go.
100%.
They won't have to drive at all.
Yeah, but right now, like people joke around about manual cars, that it's a good theft deterrent device. Have a manual transmission. Nobody knows how to drive that fucking thing.
It's hard.
Yeah, it used to be the way you get a
That
car.
was it. I learned in my hands, because I was in an emergency situation and I had to climb with my friend's car with every man. I had to learn the distance between where I was to where I had to go.
Oh, wow.
My kids, they got hurt.
The car was
That was it. Yeah.
it's something you can get the things like that's going away. They're now saying the next version of Porsches is going to be the last version of the manual transmission. Yeah, which is crazy because Porsche, that was the one thing people held on to, is that you could get that stick shift up that engagement in the car. Right? But that's got to be the thing that has. I mean, it's going to be hard because your freedom to drive that, we're going to, communist country, especially California, the first one, your freedom to drive that is not worth the potential of you taking someone's life in an accident. But, this makes sense. That's the part of the problem. It does make sense. You can see the argument.
Right. It makes sense, and that's where I mean, there's going to be so many drivers, there's going to be so many chauffeurs. Right.
There's a lot of that. They cause traffic jams. These wacky driverless cars. They have they're not quite there yet. They're coming to take people around, which is crazy. Take me around. Drive through those 20 trucks down the line. All and that is done simply. It's kind of nuts, and it's just making. We didn't have a human these 10 years. 10 years in which some time periods is not that big of a deal. Technology. Right? It's changing to the fun. It's that. It's going to be fascinating to keep up.
I mean, how many years ago, of course,
other odds that want to do, which is great. It's money money. But at the same time, if you're going to replace the last job, you have to take great financial responsibilities. You can't expect them to still have financial responsibilities and take the job. Right. So that's what we're not waiting to see how that's going to pan out. Let's understand and say, look, wait a minute now. I got my mother, my second mother who's green, and I can't waitress anymore. So what's going to happen? You can turn here, you got some nurses.
We got a game for you.
There's enough money in this country, just in this country alone, to, if you did replace jobs, you make it so that whatever controls that industry has to give a certain percentage to ensure not just like a industry, but a where people live well and they don't have to think about it. But then you got to give people purpose, because you can't just have them laying around getting free money and not having a life. Right. A lot of people, their purpose is their job. You know, that's what they look forward to. They engage with something. They have a community. They have tasks that they do. They succeed. They go out to dinner to celebrate. That's a big part of life. You can't just do that. So then, how is that? Sorry, I think this is time silence. Yeah, it's so thanks against situations in these golden ages. People spend time working for things like service to others, traveling, arts and crafts, exploring inner peace. So it's about teaching people ways to find and develop their passions and how to do those passions. So, you know, too much. Fitness, martial arts, just to introduce something. Right? I mean, you know, that, and you still should if you possibly work if you want to, right? You shouldn't be choosing this, get this money in the class. If everybody got like just imagine the time that you just get to free, you want to pay, never got to worry about this to the $200,000 every time, it's done. Then you can it's got to be it's more lightning, whatever, it's better minds on people. So there's going to be a percentage of our population that's happy. They're going to be working out. It's going to be much less than just drinking away from peace and now. Yeah, just get hammered and fucking pizza and never have to get yeah, if you're at some place, you know, that I learned no money ever, always behind their laptop, it's getting the money, it's no way to expect. You gotta have something. You gotta have something. You gotta have something that's different. Yeah. You know, that's where it's going. Wouldn't that be right? That's for most people. Like, you know, there's a great satisfaction in working and accomplishing a hard day's work. You get the paycheck and you feel like you accomplished something. But when it is and we put an emphasis in our culture on creating and doing things that interest you, and whether it's competition, whatever it is. But this will be financed essentially by this ability that you just get free money because robots control everything. Buy stuff.
Exactly.
It'll be a wild change and shift in
वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करता हूँ और मेरी सारी बात से इंस्पायर हुआ मैं डाल दूँ मेरे वर्क करता हूँ 7 मिनट आ गए सबसे पहले तो
Well, most people are working in jobs that they're not passionate about these jobs, right? And it's evident in their, at their effort and their work ethics. But
also evident their success, right? And their happiness.
That's right.
Like, you gotta give what's do. You do what you like. You enjoy this. You pursue this. You talk about this. You're very good. This is a great way to live. Yeah. And other people can find other similar things or different things that similarly excite them.
If we wanted that new scenario of 200,000 a year, whatever it was, I would still do this.
Of course.
So people will work. It's like Star Trek. They work for free on Star Trek. They don't, so it's just a TV series, but they don't have a paycheck.
Kurt didn't get paid.
No, they never got paid anymore. It was all for free.
Still trying to
It's all for free. But they did it because they were passionate about it. They believed in it so much. So there's things that people can still do if they're passionate about those things. And it's just work, but you don't extra paycheck.
Right. If there was a base paycheck in the culture, just a base paycheck based on, I wonder if it's possible. What is $200,000 times 330 million. Check that out.
And only 190 million adults. 190 million adults.
Right. That's right. Let's be generous. Let's make it 200 million adults.
Yeah.
So 200 million times 200,000.
So 2 times 2 is 4. I think it was 200,000 to 4 million.
Right. Is that? Is it trillions? 200,000 times 200 million. So 6 zeros. 6 zeros is a billion. 9 zeros is. No, 6 zeros is a million. 9 zeros is a trillion. No, billion.
We need 13, so it's 13 zeros.
13 zeros? 4 times 13 zeros. Gonna have to train these out for us.
Well,
Tax that bitch.
what was the numbers?
200,000 times 200 million.
That is going to be.
40 million.
It's $40 billion.
40 million, that's it.
That's it.
Crazy.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
that's so reasonable.
Yeah.
That's so reasonable.
That's less than the military industrial complex budget for the year.
100%. Imagine that. Just want you to think about it. We could give 200 million people $200,000 a year. That's a good amount of money. $200,000. You can live in a nice house, go on vacation. You could $200,000. Not bad at all. And if you did that, you could also still work. You could also still make money. But everybody, if we just elevated every adult in this country to that amount of money, and well, crypto, Colombians, now I'm talking, everything's going to be automated. And there should be some sort of a tax on the result that this has in society, particularly when if everything is automated, the people who run the automation, they're going to be making staggering amounts of money. So if a tax of $40 billion a year to keep everybody happy, keep everybody from going fucking crazy, that might be, it sounds crazy. Because it goes against human instincts, right? Like human nature.
Well, because our programming, we've been programmed to believe is correct.
Is that because we're designed to mine for gold?
That's right.
Designed to work hard, right?
Designed
Kind
to
of.
work hard, man.
Because it's kind of in our head that we have to work hard.
Listen, we're so programmed to believe what happened in ancient times that we believe the government is in control of us, but we're in control of the government. We allow them to tell us what to do, and we should be telling them what to do and what we want. We sit back and allow them to put rules in place, laws on us, and even lock us up and do things to us. And there's nothing we can do about it. People think there's nothing we can do. There is something we can do. We've given up our power. We've relinquished our power to an outside source because of divide and conquer. It allows it to work. Once we realize that divide and conquer is just a distraction, that we should coordinate together and organize, then we can take back control of this planet.
Yeah, and this idea of the government being in control of you is literally how it works with every single country. It's just a natural course of human nature that the people in power want more power. You know, when you're selling skateboards, you want to sell more skateboards next year. You know, when you're in power, you don't want to relinquish some of the power, make it better for people. No, you want to clamp down that power. We have to get on Facebook and stop these people from tweeting about things or posting about things. You know, this has become a problem. Let's put pressure on this company to censor certain voices on YouTube.
Exactly.
And that's the shit that happens. That's really what happens because they're not acting in the best interests of humanity. They're acting in their best interest, which is what every industry does when it's just trying to make money.
Exactly. Well, the United States is a company, it's a corporation.
Right.
And so they're acting like a corporation.
That's I agree with you too. This, the AP thing, just many people have said this, but repeatedly, there's something about them doing it on these military bases.
Yes.
It's super suspicious.
Come on. I mean, listen, to me, what's going to happen, or what potentially could happen, another Gulf of Tonkin incident. You know, the incident that created the Vietnamese War, they lied about an attack in the Gulf of Tonkin to create the Vietnamese War. Yeah, exactly. So all of a sudden, you see one of these UAPs, they're going to call up one of these non-ours. We don't know whose it is, and then it attacks the Navy vessel. And now they've got the right to say, we need $10 trillion, whatever the number is, to create these battles. Yeah, right, whatever it is. And generates more money.
Yeah.
So, could this be why the formation of the Space Force is here? So
the same thing. They want to be healthy. They want their family to be healthy and happy. They want to have a pursuit that they enjoy. They want to enjoy the community, enjoy their loved ones. That's what most people want the same thing. Most of the shit that you're saying is being stirred up by governments and special interest groups and a bunch of shit. They're all on it. They're spoon feeding it to you. If you're online, you're engaging on social media, they're showing you that.
Gaslighting every day.
Gaslighting you every day. And it's more and more obvious because people just aware of it. They know what's going on. It's shocking how much of what's going on. And it's allowing us to fight with each other while all this shit is going on behind the scenes. All these hundreds of millions of dollars. We talked about $40 million here. It's the money we spend so far. They continue to raise it, right? They just approved a new batch of money that's headed. It's insane amounts of money.
Yeah, we gotta be having infrastructure going. Our people on the register in LA, moving to the people on the streets in LA.
Okay, so Congress passed 5 bills appropriating $175 billion in response to Russia's February 22 invasion of Ukraine. So this is May 9th, 2024, which is the most recent. So $175 billion, that would solve all poverty in America. Literally solve poverty, which is wild. If poverty and crime are one problem in this country, which I would say that would solve our number one problem.
The crime is a side effect of the crime.
Yes, and I was supposed if how you get this no bid contracts, do they have my contract? And it's for profit, right? So they make more money. How about a no bid contract? Terrible.
Exactly.
No bid contract to a no bid contract to develop community programs that be funded through the state, make a ton of money. You can do this, and then also you'll have a ripple effect. You'll have less crime. You'll have more people that are out there in the workforce. You have more people that are being productive, more people that are inventing things, creating music, and culture, and art, and all kinds of other things that people like to do. And they're not getting locked up in fucking jail.
Exactly.
And then you just have to figure out a way to get off the grip of the military or the rather prison industrial complex, which has a vested interest to keeping people locked up. Because that's what the idea that we let that because we let it be profitable. Fucking jail, and then we let the prison guards actively campaign to make sure that certain laws stay in place so that people keep getting locked up for non-violent crimes.
40% of the people that are locked up in America are locked up on victimless crimes.
Yeah.
They only hurt themselves.
It's so nuts. And the amount of money that's generated by private prisons, that should be zero. It should be $0.
Right.
There should be no incentive to put people in a cage.
You can't have capitalism in everything. Capitalism has to be broken into pieces. You can't have it in medicine, healthcare, prison systems.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine that was a problem. Imagine you had to pay to get your house put out. Right? That's one thing that we exist, that we rather accept, rather the universe that we pay for. It's a socialist idea. The fire department has paid for the state, and we need fire department people. We need everybody well trained and all the equipment to be working perfect. So, because it's real cool.
It makes sense. It's logical.
Sounds pride.
The mental health.
And
demonstrating that deal.
And giving kids guidance, having community programs, having education programs, so that people can do it out of it, where they can get out from what they want and see a path to success and they don't feel despair. We have a possibility and show and have it be run by people who need it. So I can have it just like you can teach someone how to play piano, you can teach someone how to do karate, you can teach people how to live life. Right? And it costs a lot less. What's costing the Ukraine, and how much would it benefit our economy? How much would it benefit our culture, our society? How much would get done if there was less crime? And then those people that want the big things, all the contributors. Isn't that fair?
And the civilization grows the way it should.
Yes, the way it should.
Correction.
The problem is it's been captured. It's been captured by elites that want to keep draining money. And they keep draining money and using it for their own needs. It's terrible.
That's why I call it politics. Politics. That's what it's called. Oh, 40 trillion.
40 trillion. That's much more than it should. Ladies and gentlemen, I retread from this product. And we're going to have enough money to fix this problem. I forgot what I said.
They start making about $80,000, and then the people working toward their own money, the banks,
Yeah, Charlie Brown was the
businesses.
Okay, so if it's 40 trillion, you can get it down to 15 trillion. It's still most of the money we make. But still,
It's going to increase though significantly in the next 10 years because of the AI.
right.
All the chips grow up. When a company can lay off, like Amazon, lay off 1,000 people, basically 1,000 robots,
Right.
their profit margin goes up significantly within the first 8 to 10 years.
If anything is being done to provide a safety net, because you can't give people 2 hours a week, right? You know, whatever it is, it's got to be a significant amount of money to actually get on whatever that number is, whatever you decide that number is. The number could be less if things are covered. Like, if AI becomes so efficient at creating power, we have it in our head that power must be paid for. But if AI becomes so efficient and eliminates jobs, then we decide to nationalize power is
Right.
set up as a socialist power system, which is not the worst idea. We consider that most power is being generated by the use of natural resources, which really belong to the people, and that individuals are pulling these out of pocket from power, especially when you're offshore countries, and that's why the government is so. You can see it's actually it's not.
I think
It's like to drift in.
it was just, I mean, not everything is going to move, not everything will move. A lot of hydrogen. That's the big push the Navy has vessels now that run on hydrogen so they get back to nuclear fuel.
Do you know that man was already on hydrogen back in 1990?
Wow, incredible.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. He was such a freak.
Wow.
But he is such a freak. But why? I'm fascinated by him, and I don't know if he's telling the truth, but he does. He is. But, you know, one of the crazy stories about him is in Los Alamos last days when he was living there in New Mexico, he developed a rocket power company. So he put a jet engine on a fucking highway.
A lot of times.
Well, he's just a genius.
Yes, a genius. He's an absolute genius. Look, he talked about 11.15 when we discovered the
Yes.
So that's what sold me.
Well, he also has never really prepared for a story. And to tell a story for 30 years, to tell the exact same story was pretty strange. And also didn't really talk about it.
No.
It's not a thing. He's like selling buttons on t-shirts and reading buttons, writing baseball bats and constantly podcasts. No, he's a lot of kids. I don't even know if he's done that.
I know he got a lot of help.
Yeah. I was trying to get into it. He's working on it. Well, during the Jeremy Corbell documentary, the FBI raided him, which is insane.
It's the same
And
way.
he thinks that they believe that he has a stable version of L-114. That's the same thing. Yeah, so he thinks that's what they want to do.
They'd love to get their hands on that because the decay rate so fast.
Well, the video that George Knapp, there's a video that George Knapp was demonstrating George Knapp how this element, when bombarded with radioactivity, can distort gravity. He showed some experiment that they did to show light. I don't know exactly what the parameters of the term, but that thing is one of the things that convinced George Knapp maybe he's telling the truth. This whole thing is crazy. And then you see like these images which shows these crafts behaving as he described, that this gravity projection generated, whatever this is, gravity, whatever this thing is, whatever they weren't exactly sure how to, because they, at least back then, needed that. Yeah. But then you would turn towards where you want to go sideways, and that's how it would travel. And they saw these videos of these crafts doing that.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
By fighter jets. So fighter jets are locked in on them with these high-speed sensors, and they're locking up. And there's like video footage. Finally, I got it locked in. And they're like, look at it go. Yeah. See if you can find that video, because that video is one of my favorites. Because the pilots are so genuinely excited about this. And they finally lock it in. I think that's the really fast.
Go fast.
They go fast. And they're like, we got it locked in. Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Have you researched any of the Vimanas from the ancient text?
Yes. Yeah. That's very fascinating. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, this is, and in the Mahabharata, they talk about these flying crafts.
Yeah.
What is this? Which weapon actually use fighting elements? Powerful lithium. A display, pod display. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So it was just explaining how the display works. It's called a radial display, and how these fine returns are using this to try to lock in this thing. So look how it zooms in. They see it pass by. It's going so fast, they're trying to lock in on it. They're having a hard time. So they keep adjusting, and they're trying to get their sensors. So they got it. So they're excited.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Right, it's wild. Like I said, I just see these things and I go back to the Romanas. They ran on a very fluid vortex engine.
That's how it's described.
Yeah, very fluid. So they had liquid mercury, very fluid, which is liquid metal. And so they put liquid metal inside of it. F-E-R-O, ferro.
Just we used to have a famous actually over there at Quana.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So these are very, so if you take a Taurus, right? If you take a Taurus and you put a ferrofluid like mercury inside it, and you magnetize the Taurus in a way that creates this rotation, this RPM of the mercury moving around that field, and you get it up to about 60,000 RPMs, and then you actually pressurize the Taurus to about 250,000 atmospheres. You electrify it, get anti-gravity problems.
What?
Yeah. So you can create an anti-gravity flying device utilizing that technique, and this is really, well known.
And how would they describe it in the text?
In the text, they talk about the fact that it uses mercury in a rotating disc. And then they have some of the, the flight plans and some of the layout of actually the plans of the actual ship itself, one of the ships. And so from that, you can almost hypothesize or backward engineer what it might have been able to do. And in the text, it says they used to take a complement of man-to-many worlds. So this is incredible technology.
A complement of man-to-many worlds. Wow. So do you think that the government has access to something similar?
Oh, I believe so, 1,000%. I believe they've been backwards engineering information, ancient text, and of course, any artifacts that they found anywhere in the world. They might have even gotten information from, Saddam Hussein's museum. That's the first place we went in the Gulf after the whole situation happened with wanting to go take him out of power and kill him. They went straight to the museum.
So this, Jimmy just pulled this up. It says flying with ferrofluids to solve this problem. L. Brad King, Ron and Elaine Starr, professor in space systems at Michigan Tech, is creating a new kind of microthruster that assembles itself out of its own propellant when excited by a magnetic field. The tiny thruster requires no fragile needles and is essentially indestructible. Working with unique material called ionic fluid ferrofluid, King says, explaining that it's both magnetic and ionic, a liquid solid. When we put a magnet underneath a small pool of ferrofluid, it turns into a beautiful hedgehog structure of aligned peaks. When we apply a strong electric field to that array of peaks, each one emits an individual microjet of ions.
Yep,
Whoa.
exactly. You have to electrify it. Once you electrify it, you create this electromagnetic activity.
This is what it looks like.
Just give you how to transfer this.
Wow. And so you can use that as something that can propel a device.
Yes, absolutely. And you don't get to reduce the gravity, the weight of an object to zero, but you significantly reduce the weight of an object.
And the fact that they figured this out, is it Mahabharata or Bhagavad?
And the Mahabharata. And then also, I think it was one of Captain Vedas.
What is the difference? What's the explanation for how they figured it out? Help me out.
They have
Help me out.
They say they have flying cities. They say they have flying cities, and these cities will go to battle sometimes against each other in the sky. So you're talking about massive objects flying around.
How do they explain that away? That's what I don't know. How do you explain that?
How do you explain somebody thousands of years ago sitting down and writing sci-fi epic?
Well, not just that, but writing about a process.
Oh yeah.
of creating this field that now has been documented all these thousands of years later.
Works now.
How did you figure that out?
And this
What do you
happens.
guys do?
This happens over and over again in text. In the Emerald Tablets, which is the book I wrote, Dope talks about using cymatic frequencies and light waves to create manifest solid matter. And what happened about 4 years ago in the laboratory, they used cymatic frequencies and photons to create solid matter out of nothing. Just happened about 4 years ago.
What did they create?
They just create one of a few particles, you know. But the fact that we can do it, when it was already in ancient text.
Wow.
So now
we can do it on a very small scale,
Very small
just
scale.
like we can create element 115 with a collider.
Correct.
Same kind of thing. It's a
Same.
very small, unstable version of element 115 that only exists for a fraction of a second, but they can measure it.
Right.
So, but with sufficiently advanced technology, you can create it and then form a stable version of that.
Imagine being able to build an entire city by manifesting the map needed to build the city instead of harvesting the city from rock
3D print the city.
with nanobots. You use nanobots to build the city. It would manifest as it went.
And you could also use that to repair things.
Absolutely.
So you would never have to have like construction again. Everything would be self-correct.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, like, of course, if you just scale up, just think about what we can do now and keep going. Make it much better and much more efficient.
We're talking about programmable matter. Programmable matter.
And what you're saying about DNA, the fact that you can encode into DNA, that you can actually hold information in DNA.
Yeah. Microsoft has created the very first DNA hard drive. So it's a molecular hard drive that works on technology, this hardware, and also biological software. And so the device, a hard drive the size of my cell phone, can store any enormous amount of petabytes of data. So things like teleportation is going to be possible in the near future. We've already teleported, I think, a couple of particles from Earth to the space station, right? But what's stopping us from teleporting a human being? Understanding and knowing the location of every atom and the rotation experiment of every atom. That's a lot of information, a lot of storage space. Now with DNA hard drives, the storage space problem goes away. We'll be able to teleport biological beings or objects, big objects, into space wherever we want on the planet.
Like Star Trek. Who's going to be the first guy to get beamed up?
Somebody's going to be a real guinea pig for that one.
Yeah, we're going to have to find some guy.
Because when you teleport, you die. I don't know if people know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's issue.
Teleport. I mean, you're reborn again instantly in another location, but it's a facsimile of you. Anytime you teleport, even the molecules that we teleport now, the original version, the original molecule, or the starting matter is destroyed, and the data is then transmitted, and then it's reformulated. So a teleportation is actually the death of you and the reformation of you.
Maybe they can do a better job. Maybe it's just like tone a few things up, clean up a little bit,
Get rid of some scars, whatever.
yeah, lose some body fat.
Right.
Yeah, maybe they can make a better version of you. Maybe even if they want to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe that's hell. Maybe you come back and they have that soul.
Well,
Maybe you teleport and your soul is
Well, they're transmitting your consciousness, so everything is stable. All the information is stable. We know that was done also in ancient times. Go talk to the Emerald Tablets about being able to go into these halls of momentum where you have rejuvenation chambers, which is what I believe is the Serapeum in Sakara. And he would go into these gigantic stone boxes, and he would then transfer his consciousness from his body into another body. And he would leave the body that he left inside of one of those gigantic boxes, or those gigantic direct stone boxes for 100 years while it recharged itself and rejuvenated. While he said he walks amongst men, but unlike man. Yeah, and he would do this for eons. He would transfer from body to body. Not bodies he stole, bodies he created, and he created himself through probably some advanced form of stem cell technology. And he would walk amongst men, but unlike a man. And he was known all around the planet because this guy lived. He's according to the ancient Egyptians, he ruled over them for 16,000 years per person.
What?
Yeah.
So was this those ancient texts, like the ancient hieroglyphs that show caves going back 30,000 years?
Well, that's the Sumerian Kings list located in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, England. I was there myself in person to check out this stonework. And it's an incredible tablet that talks about the reigns of kings.
Yeah.
Some kings were 28,800 years, 14,000 years. I mean, 20,000. The numbers are insane.
These are not Egyptian.
This is no, not Egyptian. These are Anunnaki. This is pre-flood. Jesus is close to antediluvian. And then when the flood comes, it talks about then this blood swept over the land. After the flood happens, then they descend kingship from heaven back down to humans, and then the reigns of humans begin. But they're not really full humans; they're demigods, they're half human, half Anunnaki. And then their lifespans are like much shorter because their ruling times are only like 1,000 years, and 800 years, and 700 years, and it starts to go down.
Which is why 600.
Right, exactly.
So these tablets, what do they call them?
You're talking about the Sumerian kings list.
Can you show me that, Jim? I want to see what that is.
It's a giant four-sided tablet located in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, England. Yeah.
And so, what exactly does it say? Like,
it gives you that's it right there. Those are all four sides.
and how old is this?
This is, they're saying 6,000, but
You can make
believe me, it's much older than that.
That's
This is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy over tens of thousands of years, in my opinion. But this text gives the reigns of kings in shars. S-H-A-R. Shars, 3,600 years. So one shar would be 3,600 to 240,000 years. On that stone.
Now, Kevin, this is what hundreds of thousands of years ago. This is bizarre shit between both planets and us, which you don't see anymore.
Right.
There's nothing.
No.
There's
I
nothing
mean,
like this.
look, we have 46 chromosomes, right? What happens? Exactly. They discovered that chromosome number 2 was taken out. They call it artificial mutation. They mean geneticists fused together and 2 telomere caps put on. 1 telomere cap on each side. Pulled the chromosome number 2 out, fused it together, and put telomere caps on it. They say that it happened an estimated 200,000 years ago, right at the time that the Sumerian tablets say they decided to make mankind to do the labor. There's no coincidence that the tablets are aligning modern science. And this means that a couple things. The first thing, it means that we were genetically modified. The second thing that it means is the telomere caps limit our lifespan to about 120 years max, according to Harvard scientists. Now, in the Bible, what does it say? It says that my seed shall not abide in man forever, his years shall be 120. That was taken from the Sumerian tablets, even further back than that. Thousands of years before the Bible was written, when Yahweh, aka Enlil, shows back up, sees human beings building the towers into the heavens, copying the towers that they themselves have built. It pissed them off. He said, whatever their hearts decide to do, they shall achieve it. My seed shall not abide in man, his years will be 120. And then he did a genetic modification of that, I believe, with the telomeres. And he spread mankind out around the planet. He confused their languages. He had us speaking different languages. We couldn't collaborate. Now we're in competition, no collaboration. Divide and conquer.
And there's the town.
That's it. That's it, man.
So it was all done just to keep us from rising.
Yes. We were advancing too fast, and he had to slow us down. If we shorten their lifespan, then they won't have enough time. By the time they realize they are the power they have, they'll be dead. And see, that's what's happened to us.
So, in the Anunnaki are real and the miracles are real, and the miracles have a little cycle that comes between, it's like Mars and Jupiter, right? Somewhere in there.
Well, it's further out now. Time right over has been pushed out. That's just one planet that these Anunnaki come. They come from many planets.
But do you think that this planet, the miracles have lived in the world? If it's coming in 2,600 years, wouldn't there be some sort of documentation 2,600 years ago? At the very least.
Well, you have to look for geological disasters as part of this. This object, this miracle planet, which is mentioned by the way in the Enuma Elish, is not a fabricated name. This people know its real name is the Enuma Elish. The oldest version of the Enuma Elish says the miracle as one of the planets. But you look at the time frame when this thing gets close. It orbits another planet, another star. So it orbits a brown dwarf star. This brown dwarf star has the same amount of mass as our sun, but it's much smaller, right? But it generates enough heat and friction in orbits orbiting planets. You can see the two massive infrared coming out of the constellation of Leo when you go to a worldwide telescope and download software over that. But the fact that modern science now, and there's an object out there that they say our sun every 4,200 years, right? And that's Corey Powell, Discovery Magazine. He's a real historian. Been on Fox News. He said that on Fox News. If I can find the clip, I'll send it to you, matter of fact. And so, yeah, finally, Fox News, Corey Powell. And so, what's happening is we are seeing evidence that there is something there that's orbiting our sun, and that our sun is a binary star system. So, we used to think that our sun, one sun in the solar system is normal. But as they look out into space with Hubble and now the Webb, they discovered no, binary is normal and even trinary. And so it's like, wait a minute, if binary is normal, they start looking for a sign that gravitation should exist, and they believe that it's out there far beyond Pluto. And that Corey Powell says our solar system exists within our solar system. And he goes on to say, we come from there on Fox News, which is just crazy.
So, the idea of planetary towers, the theory is that matter comes from the sun, so when it coalesces into planets, it gets to a Goldilocks zone. Life comes out of that. Life becomes far more intelligent as time goes on, develops more capabilities, and is also assisted by other beings that have been through this process already. And then, if this scales out for hundreds of millions of years, you get to a point this is or billions of years, whatever it takes to get more.
Well, I used to think that they're about a million years ahead of us technologically. Now, it could
And then there's things
oh, wait. They get far.
this is what's hard for us to see. You know, we like to think that aliens and flying spaceships, that's the top of the
Right.
but not even close.
Like I was saying before, I never got to it really. There's three types of beings that can exist. One is a physical corporeal being. That could be what we see flying around in these UFOs. Not all of them, some of them that visit us and they interact with us in the ancient past. Not all are little green men, but they have various different body types. The second kind that I believe is potentially multi-dimensional beings. Okay? That there's life in every different dimension. And you know, Michio Kaku is famous for saying that the universe, they believe, has 11 dimensions. So that's 11 dimensions. We're only in the third. There's more physics equivalent to 11 at least. When the universe, he says, will collapse. So if you're in a being in a higher dimension, you can see the past, present, and future all at once from the third. If you say that's an interesting place I'd like to visit it, if you can actually create a phase shift in your atomic frequency to match the atomic frequency of this dimension, you can walk right in, and then you can walk right back. And then you probably have something else that's outside of this entire universe that has the capability. Maybe it's the creators of the universe itself, which is why the book Fractal Holographic Universe. Maybe there's a creator outside of this entire universe that has a hand in creating this ancestral universe itself.
Well, it also makes sense that if you scale intelligent life up infinite, you're going to reach a point where you have godlike powers. This being or a collection of beings, this hive mind, whatever it is, it could essentially, if given 100 million years, harness the very power of the universe itself, maybe even create
Up universes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the ultimate mind blow, that intelligent life is the reason why this thing exists.
Yeah. We're creating universes right now as human beings on this planet. 14 college kids created a video game called No Man's Sky. No Man's The Sims are going to get AI now. They're going to be asking questions. Right? They're going to be creating their own software in the software and trying to build their own copy of the universe. We're not even close to base reality. We're literally living in a stacked reality. We're just one reality out of millions of actual realities that exist.
Do you think the simulation theory has weight?
Oh, I believe so. I wrote a book about it. That book is about the fractal holographic universe, and I believe they're living in a simulation.
Together with the stack.
No, I just
a written
four. The one just came out today, the fractal holographic universe. This is the Epic Tablets, the Epic of Humanity, and my financial book, this week, broke. Financial literacy book, not the political book either, the real.
When did you start going down this road of exploring all of these interesting subjects?
Well, it was a long time ago, 1977 in Miami, Florida. We moved from New York to Miami, next city, I used to go out in the backyard. You know how it is back then. No cable TV, no cell phones, no tablets.
Yeah.
You just go outside and play. So I'm outside in the backyard playing, but I'm looking at the airplanes. And this one day, this plane goes over, but it's not really a plane. It clears the horizon in seconds, not minutes. It just goes straight across. I know as a little kid, the planes take a long time to go from one point to the other. It went straight across. And it was more like not both sides, not cigar, but not an egg, kind of in between the two. Glowing, almost like a tic-tac, glowing metal, yes. And then it came back and it stopped right over me, completely silent. About now I can estimate about 250 meters. And then it just went gone. And I ran in the house and I told my mom, I was like, hey, I can't believe what I just saw. And my mom said to me, son, back in the day, there were advanced beings that came to this planet. This is 1977. My mom, yeah. That's why I dedicated the book to her. And she said they used to live on tops of mountains like in Peru, Machu Picchu, which is why one of the greatest places I went, I had to go there. And so I went to the library, Rainbow Park Elementary, the next morning, and I told the teacher I have to go to the library inside the school, Rainbow Park, and I said I need to get all the encyclopedias on space and aerospace. She gave me the encyclopedias on aerospace, and that's when I started researching in that exact moment.
Wow.
And I haven't stopped since.
So you were how, 8?
7.
7 years old. Oh my God. You just got locked in.
I got locked in. I started researching swept wing, delta wing, ballistics, intercontinental ballistics. I'm looking at submarines. I'm looking at hovercraft that existed way back then, flying disc that we had created in the military way back then. SR-71s and all this stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell did I see? And I couldn't find it. But it took me down the path of technologies and advanced technologies and aerospace information. And I kind of became a quasi-aerospace historian. And that led me in further on down the line to studying, architecture and seeing a connection between the two.
And you studied at both Harvard and MIT.
Harvard was for ancient civilizations. I took a class, got a certificate in ancient civilizations, and at MIT I took a class in applied neuroscience and got a certificate in applied neuroscience.
And are you just doing this for your own edification? Just
Yeah.
you're interested in it?
Yeah. Right now I'm enrolled again at MIT right now for a class in AI.
And when you first got down this road, we're talking about a time there's no internet and there's no news. You're just like trying to make sense of some things.
Just trying to make sense, man.
And this one, have you ever seen anything since?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually at ESETI Ranch in 2017, I believe it was. We were out there. I was out there to do speak at this ranch in Washington State, and it's down from the basin of Mount Shasta.
It's called the SETI Ranch.
ESETI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ESETI, ECETI. It's like a private kingdom in America, actually. It's a private. They've got registered as a small kingdom. They don't even have mail or anything there. It's a weird place. I had to stay in a yurt. It's really crazy out there. I spoke there for a whole week. I had to get used to it because nobody told me about this before I got there.
You had to stay in a yurt for a week?
Stay in a yurt for a week.
Did they have running water?
At the community bathroom.
Oh, boy. SETI?
Yeah.
Oh, enlightened contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. Oh, boy. So
And
they're just out there with no technology trying to talk to aliens.
so, no, just out there every night sky watching, basically.
Really?
And the video that we
Does that sound like
recorded,
a rich, crazy person's idea?
yeah. The video that we created that night, watching those UFOs in the sky, actually made it onto an episode that I'm in on Ancient Aliens.
Oh.
Yeah.
That show's the best show to get high to.
Yeah.
You ever see Action Bronson's show where he would watch Ancient Aliens, they would just get stoned and watch Ancient Aliens? That show's crazy.
But yeah, so we recorded some crazy footage in the skies there. Yeah.
What did you see?
Well, they were giant discs flying around. Some were changing colors.
Did you have video footage of that?
It's on the episode. I sent it to Ancient Aliens, and
See if you can find that.
yeah.
It's I'm
James
sure they
James Gilliland, the guy who owns the ranch, licensed it and approved Ancient. But if you go to ESETI Ranch YouTube videos, you could probably find one right on YouTube right now.
Wow.
It was incredible.
So these folks are just out there trying to make contact.
Just not trying to make contact, just watch it.
Just watch.
Just like in amazement. There's no contact attempt there.
And why?
Yeah, there you go. That's it. I was there that night. That video, I was standing there that night. There was a lot of activity that night. There was some crazy stuff going on.
And what does this thing look like to the naked eye? We're seeing very blurry, looks like zoomed in footage.
Yeah,
Rather.
yeah,
What
because
year is this from?
This is probably
2018.
18. There you
So
go.
they didn't have the Samsung Galaxy S24.
Yeah, we didn't have that one back then. But from the naked eye, it looks like these giant glowing balls moving around. Sometimes they expand and they change colors. Sometimes they descend right down by Mount Shasta, and then you can see their lighting in the tree line, and then they will space again. It was just crazy stuff.
Have you seen that ball lightning that they get in Texas that comes out of the mountains?
No, I saw one on the railroad track though, ball lightning.
Yeah, there's this phenomenon that happens in this one particular area in Texas. What was it called? Marfa? Was that what it's called, Jamie? I think it's Marfa. It's like this bizarre artist community town, and they have like frequent instances of what they call the Marfa lights.
Wow.
And it's ball lightning that flies around out there.
Wow.
You don't think that could be that?
No, because sometimes they would keep going until they just went out into space. Yeah, and there was so many. Sometimes two would come and they would encircle each other, and then one would change direction and drop down by the mountain, and one would just take off in another direction. Some would go slow, and they go and just go.
How
gone.
frequent does this take place?
I don't know. I was only there for those 7 nights. I say the first night we were there, that was when we saw like the 10 in the sky moving around and doing things. The second night, not too much. The third night was a little bit more, maybe 4 or 5.
So do you think that what it is that this place has no light pollution, and they picked a very specific area that they knew these things occur in?
It's possible. No light pollution, and plus also maybe that's an area where they have an opening or access, or I don't know. Who knows? I'm just now speculating now, but I don't know why. That people came from all over the world to that location the week I was there to just camp out and look up at the sky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, we covered a lot.
Yeah.
3 hours. I really appreciate your time and appreciate all the stuff you put out there. It's so fun, it's so fascinating, and it's so interesting. And thank you very much for being here, man. I really had a good time.
I enjoyed it, man. Thank you.